Greetings, family. My name is Vicki Dillard for African Diaspora News Channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to give the video a big thumbs up, and share the broadcast. Beloved, when you do that, it helps to send out notifications to other people. And how many of you all know that sometimes platforms like this one are restricted in one way or another? So when you actively get involved, you help to ensure that others know that we're here and we're a counter voice to the voice of the mainstream media. Actually, it's a war of words. We're actually on the front line of warfare, beloved. So when you participate, when you support, you help us on the winning side. Talk black to me, somebody. Let me hit my gavel on that. Thank you so much for tuning in, family. I want you to get ready to watch this explosive press conference excerpt from the Malian government. Watch this.
I have the great honor of reading the government's press release number 068, the content of which is as follows. The transitional government of the Republic of Mali has learned with deep shock of the subversive remarks by which Mr. Andrei Yusuf, spokesman for the Ukrainian Military Intelligence Agency, admitted Ukraine's involvement in a cowardly, treacherous and barbaric attack by armed terrorist groups that resulted in the death of elements of the Malian defense and security forces in Tinzoutan as well as material damage. These remarks were reinforced by Mr. Yuri Pivovarov, the Ukrainian ambassador to Senegal, who openly and unequivocally displayed his country's support for international terrorism, particularly in Mali.
Okay, family, did you hear our dear brother read from what he called, I believe, this press conference number 068, where he was quoting Andrew Yusuf of the Ukrainian government, admitting the fact that there were Ukrainian terrorist operatives in his country? Let me ask you a question, family. Let me ask you a question. What in the world is the United States government doing supporting to the tune of hundreds of billions of dollars? We're not that far from $1 trillion so far that we can prove in no limit of time that the United States government has given to the Ukrainian government when there has been evidence and proof that there were major Ukrainian Nazi elements there. Now you have high-level Malian officials quoting top-level Ukrainian government officials that admits to subversive, cowardly, terrorist activity by the Ukrainian government. What in the world is really going on? Let me tell you something. This Reuters article says, its headline says, Mali cuts ties with Ukraine over alleged involvement in rebel attack. This briefly mentions the fact that they're cutting ties with them, but it says in the second paragraph, Mali's northern Tuareg rebels say they killed at least 84 Russian Wagner mercenaries and 47 Malian soldiers over days of fierce fighting in the north of West African country, in which it appears to be Wagner's heaviest defeat since it stepped in 2 years ago to help Mali's military authorities fight insurgent groups. The GUR spokesman, I should say the GUR spokesman, Andrew Yusuf, the one that I mentioned just earlier, has not confirmed Kiev's involvement in the fighting, but in comments published on the public broadcaster's Susblind's website on Monday, July 29th, he said the Malian rebels had received the necessary information to conduct the attacks. Quote, the rebels received all the necessary information they needed, and not just the information, which allowed them to conduct a successful military operation against Russian perpetrators of war crimes. We certainly won't go into details now. You will see more of this in the future, he said. Well, our Malian spokesman brother there in the press conference that you just saw, he just told you that Andrew Yusuf admitted that. Talk black to me, somebody. The press conference is a little bit longer, but of course we have to keep them short for obvious purposes here, but I can't wait to hear what you have to say about it. Let me tell you something. Almost 20 years ago, a spiritual group that I had put together at that particular time that was doing prayers and intercession for our planet, I downloaded and channeled information specifically related to the Ukraine and Russia almost 20 years ago. How did your sister with the curly braids, who's a girl from Mississippi that now lives in the Wild Wild West in the United States, how was I able to channel information that had to do with geopolitics almost 20 years ago being in the spirit. These are the type of principles that I teach in my monthly spiritual school, the Vicki Dillard Mystery School, for a very low cost every month. My students are getting miracles, signs, and wonders and breakthroughs in their family, in their businesses, and more. Go to my website to learn more about it at VickiPlanet.com, the Vicki Dillard Mystery School, VickiPlanet.com. That's my website. Check it out. VICKIPlanet.com, VickiPlanet.com. Be sure to comment below on the video and be sure to share the broadcast. I can't wait to see you again.